In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I set up a cage for my senior disabled small parrot. So here's Nugget. He's going to be 13 in a couple of months. You can see his toes. They're all bent from arthritis. There's Pickles. She's going to be 12 in about 5 months. This is a cage I like to use for my senior birds, as it's not so tall. You really don't want a tall cage because your bird can fall from the top all the way to the bottom. So the bird I'm using it for is pretty crippled up, and he basically spends a lot of time on the floor. But if he crawls up, he's going to hurt himself falling down. So this cage is wider than it is taller. This one's 24 inches by 16 and by 16 tall. This cage is sometimes labeled as a breeding cage because it has a breeding door here. You can put a box here, or a flight cage because you can put a perch on one end to the next and they can fly back and forth, especially for like a finch or a canary. And this cage here, I believe this is a preview cage. It comes in 2 sizes. So this one's the smaller one, which is 24 inches. And this cage is much wider. This one's 30 inches across by 18 deep and 18 wide. So this is a much bigger cage, especially if your bird can still fly. You can put a perch on each end and it can fly end to end. And even for the floor space, they have a lot more floor space if your bird can just kind of walk around. So this is a nice one as well. Now if your bird is disabled, especially on the feet, and they have trouble gripping, you have to be wary of which perches that you use for your bird, as some perches are more slipperier than others, especially the dowel perch. This dowel perch usually comes with the cage. I find it's very slippery. My bird can't even sit on this perch. He's a Lineolated Parakeet named Nugget. If he gets up on this, he'll fall right down. So these dowel perches are not recommended as they're just uniform all over. They're one length and they're slippery as well. So I wouldn't even use that one. And then there's rope perches, which they can grip onto. You just have to be wary if they chew on them. If they, wear them down, they can get their nails stuck, or they, chew, they can ingest it. You have to be careful with those. And then there's different types of wood. There's all kinds of perches. Some perches I don't even have right here in the camera, but there's more. These are all different perches, all of these. So what you want to do is feel if they're slippery, right? You want to feel if you can grip, and what I do is hold my hand and I twist it. This is actually a nice one. I think this is ribbon wood. It feels very soft. Some woods are harder than others, and some have little grooves in it. If you can see that, let's see if it's clear. It has little grooves in here, and so it makes the grip really good. And you want to get perches of different sizes so your bird can exercise his feet. That's why the dowel is not really recommended to have all throughout the cage. Sometimes you can have one at the bottom, but not throughout the cage. And so for a disabled bird with bad feet, you want to get something that they can grip on. So if you can't really, if your bird can't grip on any of these, this is what I do. You can use vet wrap. Oh look, there's a feather on it. You can use vet wrap. Basically you just undo this and you wrap it on the perch and it gives them grip. Or what I like the most is moleskin. This is really soft moleskin, and it's has a sticky back. You unpeel the paper, and basically what you do is you just cut a piece. You can cut this. It comes in different, you can get it in sheets or a roll. This is a roll, which isn't cooperating with me, but I have to undo it and stick it on there. So basically what you're going to do is going to be wrapping the perch, and you can also get these flat perches. They come in different shapes. This is a square one, this is a semicircle, and your bird can rest on there. If your bird has a hard time sitting on any perches, you can get a flat surface for them, and that way they can rest, especially if your bird only has 1 foot. I have a budgie with 1 foot, and he needs all kinds of flat surfaces to sit on. He doesn't really even sit on any perches, really. He sits on these, and he has to lay down so he can rest his good foot, because budgies like to switch their feet to rest on. So he lays on here and he rests his good foot. And so they come in different sizes and different woods as well, different materials. So these are really nice. Alright, so I'm going to add the perches and show you what I use. I'm not going to use the rope perch because they chew. I have 2 linnies that will be in here. They bonded and they just love each other. I can't separate them. So one is not really disabled. The other one is. So the other one's a female and she will chew this. So I'm not going to give it to her because I know for sure she'll chew it right away. So I'm just going to use moleskin. I'm going to wrap this perch and I'm going to place the perches down low. When the birds can't really climb, they need to have the perches down low. So I'll show you where I place them. So I peeled off the back of the moleskin and I washed my perches and I'm just placing new moleskin on them. It's really soft. In this perch, I'm just going to use vet wrap, and what you do is just pull it. It sticks to each other, so you just go round and round and round. You can go around as many times as you want to make it really soft, and then you just cut it when you're done, and yeah, it'll just stick to each other. So I have two perches that are wrapped with one with moleskin and one with vet wrap that are down low that my Linny can crawl up to and sit on and have a good grip. I put all the perches in, and as you can see, I wrapped moleskin on three of them, and I put vet wrap on the bottom one. I did put two perches up higher for my other Lineolated Pickles. They're softwood and they're grippable, and I put a flat perch up there and another one down at the bottom so they can choose to go where they like. But the lowest ones are mostly for Nugget, but Nugget mostly does stay on the ground, so I'm gonna have to do something about this grate as it's not very comfortable for him to sit on. So for the bottom of the cage, you want to make it as soft as possible. So I'm going to be using these paper towels. Now, if you have a bird that doesn't chew or burrow like Linnies do, Linnies love to burrow and chew, I would use like a towel or you know, something soft on the bottom of it and then place paper towel over it. But since my Linnies like to burrow and chew, the safest to use is paper towel. So I put a few layers on there just to make it soft so that they're not sitting on the grate, as Nugget is always on the bottom. And so the paper towels will be soft, as the grate of these cages, they don't come out. So it's best to cover them up, especially for a disabled bird with sore feet or 1 foot, or even a normal bird, like any bird. You don't want a bird sitting, you know, walking on these grates. It's not very comfortable. But any bird that spends a lot of time on the bottom, it's best to make it as soft as you can. And next I put in the toys. My birds are senior birds. They don't really chew a lot anymore, but birds do prefer to chew, you know, wood. You have to get the appropriate kind of wood to chew for your bird. It has some, you know, the smaller birds can't chew the really hard wood. So something that is soft and manageable for small birds. They love these little vine balls. And you can see they did chew some of this part here. And so I'm just going to place that throughout. So what I do is I put a few toys down low so Nugget can reach them if he wants to chew them, and a little bit up high for Pickles. So I got 4 toys here to put in the cage. So I got all the toys in. I got 4 toys, and Nugget, he can still climb, so if he really wants to chew on that toy he can, but I did put one down lower here. It's basically touching the ground, and this one he can reach from that perch there. And this one as well, he can climb there and reach that toy there. And if he wants to, he can climb up on top, but that's mainly for Pickles, my other bird. And I did put the cuddle bone back in. That's for my female. She rarely even touches it, but I do have it there for her in case she wants it. So now I gotta put their food and water in. I place the food and water on the floor for Nugget because sometimes he does struggle to get into the bowls. They're not that high up from the ground, but he does struggle to get in. So it's easier if he just kind of walks along and gets right in there to eat. And also that water dish over here, he might get on here, but he slips around. So that's more or less for Pickles. And when I give them their chop, I put a bowl like this in there with their chop and he can crawl right in. I just move this out of the way, you know, closer to the edge and put their chop in the middle where they can't poop on it. So you don't want to put anything under the perches where they're gonna poop on it. So that's for more or less for Nuggy. Pickles can eat it too as well. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place their heater at the back of the cage. As I find when birds are older or they're seniors, they seem a little bit chilly, especially my bird room. It's a little bit chilly, but I'm gonna show you the heater that I use. Alright, so I got the heater up. I moved the toy over here. Nugget can still reach it by going on that little ledge. This heater I really highly recommend for birds that are cold or get cold or if they're sick. It's a really nice heater. It's just a little bit of warmth. It's not really hot. You can touch it and you won't even burn yourself. It's ambient heat, and it's very nice. So I find my older birds, you know, kind of always look a little bit cold. So I put this heater in for them to stay warm. If they want to go there, they can. If not, they don't have to. So they have a choice of where they want to go. So here's Nugget. He's going to be 13 in a couple of months. You can see his toes. They're all bent from arthritis, and his nails are bent and grown. Yeah, he's trying to bite me a little bit. He has eyesight problems. He did have glaucoma. It's a little bit better now, but he'll probably always have that. So he's doesn't have very good eyesight. And his partner Pickles always bites his tail feathers out. So he gets pretty messy at the bottom of the cage, but I try to keep it clean. But let's put him in there, see what he does. He just kind of runs around all the time on the bottom. And he likes to go underneath the paper. And yeah, because Linnies like to burrow. They like to go underneath stuff. So I always put lots of paper towels so that he can go underneath. And he sleeps there a lot. But he can climb up on the perches too. There's Pickles. Pickles can, her feet are fine. She just has issues with her beak right now. I have to bring her to the vet because it's a little bit overgrown, so she could have a liver problem, or I'm not sure. She's going to be 12 in about 5 months, so they'll be 12 and 13. So there goes Nuggy. He kind of slipped off the perch that has the vet wrap on it. So yeah, he does have a little bit of trouble of gripping, but you can see he can reach his toy.